Hi everyone, this is about your searching habits from the online survey that you all took. Okay, so there we go. So how much do you search? So 40.91% of you search 0 to 3 times a day. I'm hoping that's less 0 and more 1 to 3. 4 to 8 times a day, about 50% of you chose that. And then more than 8 times a day, 9% of you chose that. So I found that quite interesting, that there's actually, 9% of you that are actually going and trying to find information more than 8 times a day, which I think is a lot, but that's fine. Where do you search? So everybody in this class always says Google and PubMed, but the ones that I found interesting specifically to you guys was this Khan Academy. I've done a lot of professional development and found like additional information on the Khan Academy. It's great, it's free, it's open source, so those of you that don't know about it and are interested in finding information out about it, I would highly suggest that you go there. It's a trusted source, and it's a great resource. And this examine.com, I was not familiar with this, so I went obviously on and checked it, and I sent an email to the head of our nutrition department to see if this is a site that they knew about and or one that they are interested in, so I can add it to LibGuides, which you'll find out a little bit more about LibGuides as we go through. So thank you for that. I always find it interesting what different places students put on there as to where they go and search for information. So why do you search for information? This is great. Curiosity, to fact check, to stay up to date. So fact check is really big. When we go through our evaluating or how to evaluate information, we really talk about how to fact check. How do you check that the information that you're receiving and looking at from the website is good information? How do you check the authority, the accuracy, so on and so forth? Staying up to date, definitely. Especially with COVID and everything that's going on here, staying up to date and getting the newest guidelines is very important. So I found that interesting. How do you search? So this was great. 77.27% of you said that you only use keywords, and in this class we really focus on that. We focus on coming up with different words to find information on our topic and to answer the question that we've come up with for our musculoskeletal research topic. So that was really good, but you're going to learn much more in different ways to actually put those keywords together and how they work and what they mean on the back end of the databases and search engines. And then 22% of you said full sentences. So just a heads up, there will be no searching for full sentences, but we do something called phrase searching. And so for those of you that do full sentences or you put in phrases, I think you're going to find phrase searching very interesting and very helpful, and that will help you find relevant results. So it was interesting to see who uses full sentences, how many of you use full sentences, and how many of you use keywords. Okay, so this is called a Wordle, and what I do here is I take your answers and explaining why or what you think information literacy is, and I put them into a Wordle. And Wordle is great because you can put in a whole bunch of text and ask it, and what it does is it picks out the majority or the main words from that text, and then it creates a picture for you, which is called a Wordle. This also falls under technology literacy, which is also part of information literacy and something that we're going to be doing here in this class. Essentially, technology literacy is knowing about the different softwares and different places that you can go to find information and the different tools that are available out there for you. And Wordle is just one of them. So when I put in your answers for what is information literacy, I got obviously the biggest one is information. The other word that I found interesting is understanding, because that really is a big part of it, is understanding what you're reading. And understanding where you're going and understanding why you're getting the results that you're getting. So Just an example, I was with my niece and we were trying to find something for her. She's a freshman in college. And I went to Google and she went to Chrome, I believe she was using. And we were getting different results. And she didn't understand why. And so I explained to her why that is. And I'll explain it to you as well. You know, the search engines go and they search the whole web. They send out these things called bots and spiders, and they go and they come up and index all the different websites that they find interesting or that their algorithms tells them that they should actually index in their search engine. But not everybody does it the same. And so sometimes you get different results. And we're going to go into that a little bit more as I start showing you databases and search engines and things like that. So this is your Wordle. So yes, information literacy obviously has to do with information. It has to do with understanding. I also found the word useful and effective and very interesting, because finding information, anybody can go out there and find information, but having it be useful to you to answer your question and having it be effective are two different things. And then I really liked this word, ability. Okay. I wrote a dissertation about information literacy and the need for information literacy. And I talked a lot in there about having the skills and the ability to do it. So it's one thing to have the skills, which I'm going to show you, and hopefully we will build upon the skills that you already have, but it's the ability to actually do it. And ability, to me, really talks to the different types of databases and the different places that you can go to find information. And not everyone has that ability. Not everyone has the ability to go to PubMed. Not everyone, especially the PubMed that we're going to use, which is specific to NYCC. Not everyone has the ability to go to these different medical databases and chiropractic databases. So skills and ability are very different for me. So I found that very interesting that actually came up when you were talking about information literacy. Okay. This one is one that came up that I created from the class prior to you when I asked them what information literacy was, and of course information comes out. But another word that came out that I wanted to share with you is topic. And I really talked heavily to them about, yes, coming up with your topic. What is it that you're interested in? And making sure that you are interested in that so that you can come up with a plethora of questions. And so you can look at a whole bunch of different information. So thinking about, you know, what is your topic? What is your question? What is it that you want to know is really a big part of information literacy. The example that I use is that, you know, a student, this was many years ago, came up and said, you know, I want everything that you have on chiropractic. And I kind of, you know, laughed at them and said, well, yeah, that's why you're here. You have, you know, 3 1/3 years, and then you'll find out everything about chiropractic. But what actually do you want to know about chiropractic? So it's coming up with that specific topic, that specific area, that specific question, and making it answerable so you can find information to answer it. Okay? So 77.27% of you feel confident in your searching, and that's great. And 22.73 of you do not. And I think that it's 22.73 of you because it kind of correlated to your, and they might not be the same people, just making a generalization here, but it might be because you're doing full sentence searching, and so that might be why. And again, you know, we're going to talk over. We're going to talk about phrase searching and how you actually do that so that you can find relevant results. I also found it interesting that 22.73 of you don't feel confident in your searching. And again, additional reasons might for that might be because you're not actually coming up with an answerable question, okay? And you're going to hear me talk a lot about that in this class. What is your question? And you have to make it answerable. The research, and if you look at the assignment checklist, you'll see that I have on there numerous times that we're going to revise and we're going to update. The problem is some people have this problem, is that they come up with a question, but no one might have done research on that. No one might have looked into that area. And so you need to revise or change and update your questions so that you can find information and find resources that relate to an actual answerable question. Okay, and again, we're going to talk a lot about that as we go through this class, so don't worry about that. And 81.2% of you have taken a search or library class, which I found interesting. I didn't ask if it was in high school or if it was in college, but that's great that you have that basic understanding of how to do research and the different places that you can go. But like I said earlier, this really takes it to the next level so that you can become expert researchers, and the things that you learn in this class you're going to be using in the clinical setting, well, starting in 6th try, and then definitely in the clinical setting when you have to fill out, they're called CRWs, clinical rationale worksheets. So this really is the beginning of that, but I was glad to see that so many of you have actually taken a search library class.